You know what the scariest moment in life is. It's not when you fail. It's not when you fall flat on your face. It's that moment right after, when you're sitting there in the wreckage of your plans, wondering if you should even bother getting back up. I want to talk to you today about something that every single person watching this has experienced. Something that stopped more dreams than lack of talent, lack of resources, or lack of opportunity ever could. I want to talk to you about failure. But more importantly, I want to talk to you about what failure actually is versus what we've been conditioned to believe it is. Because here's the truth that's going to change everything for you. Failure is a detour, not a dead-end street. Let that sink in for a moment. A detour, not a destination, not a final verdict, not the end of your story. A detour. And if you can truly understand this, if you can internalize this one concept, you'll never look at setbacks the same way again. A-C-T-O-N-E, T-H-E-L-I-E, Mo-E-V, B-N-T-O-L-D, from the time we're children. We're taught to fear failure like it's some kind of terminal disease. We see it in our schools where anything less than perfect is marked in red. We see it in our families where disappointment hangs heavy when we don't meet expectations. We see it in society where success is celebrated on every billboard and failure is hidden away like a shameful secret. We're taught that there's a straight line from where you are to where you want to be. Point A to point B, and if you deviate from that line, if you stumble, if you fall, well, you must not have what it takes. But that's a lie. That's a lie that's keeping you stuck. That's a lie that's making you play small. That's a lie that's convincing you that your setback is a setup for giving up rather than a setup for a comeback. Think about it. When you're driving and you hit a detour, do you just stop the car, park it on the side of the road, and say, well, I guess I'm never getting to my destination? No, you follow the detour. You take the alternate route. You might get frustrated. You might add some time to your journey. But you keep moving forward. Yet when we hit a detour in life, when we fail at a business, when we don't get the job, when the relationship ends, when the dream doesn't unfold the way we planned, we treat it like we've hit a brick wall. Like there's nowhere else to go. Like that's over. But failure isn't a wall. It's a redirect. H-T-T-O-T-H-T-R-H-F-O-Filer. Let me tell you what failure actually is. Failure is feedback. Failure is information. Failure is your life's GPS recalculating the road. Every single person you admire, every entrepreneur, every artist, every athlete, every leader has a highlight reel that's built on a foundation of failures you never saw. You see the best-selling book, but you don't see the 50 rejection letters. You see the successful company, but you don't see the 3 businesses that went bankrupt before it. You see the gold medal, but you don't see the thousands of hours of training where they couldn't land the move. Thomas Edison didn't fail to create the light bulb 10,000 times. He found 10,000 ways that didn't work. J.K. Rowling was rejected by 12 publishers before Harry Potter became one of the best-selling series in history. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. Oprah was fired from her first television job and told she was unfit for TV. These aren't exceptions to the rule. This is the rule. Success isn't a straight line. It's a messy, winding, unpredictable path full of wrong turns, U-turns, and unexpected detours. And the people who make it aren't the ones who never fail. They're the ones who refuse to let failure be the final word. Here's what I need you to understand. Failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is part of success. It's not an obstacle to your journey. It's part of the journey itself. Every failure teaches you something that success never could. Success confirms what you already knew. Failure reveals what you need to learn. Success makes you comfortable as you grow. Success is nice, but failure is where the transformation happens. A-C-T-T-O-H-Y-D-O-R, success now. I know what some of you are thinking. That's easy to say, but you don't understand my situation. My failure was devastating. My failure cost me everything. My failure feels permanent. And I hear you. I really do. Some detours are longer than others. Some detours take you through terrain you never wanted to see. Some detours hurt like hell. But here's something profound. Sometimes the detour exists because you weren't ready for the destination yet. Sometimes the detour exists because there's something you need to learn, someone you need to become, or some strength you need to develop before you can handle what you're asking for. Think about it. If you had gotten everything you wanted when you first wanted it, would you have been able to sustain it? Would you have had the character to handle it? Would you have had the wisdom to manage it? The detour isn't punishment. The detour is preparation. I've seen people lose businesses only to build better ones. I've seen people get rejected from dream jobs only to create their own companies. I've seen relationships end only to make space for the love they actually deserve. I've seen doors slam shut only for windows to open that led to something far greater than they could have imagined. The detour you're on right now. It might be teaching you resilience. It might be developing your patience. It might be connecting you with people who will change your life. It might be revealing strengths you didn't know you had. It might be removing you from something that would have destroyed you. You can't see it yet because you're in it. But one day, you'll look back and you'll understand why the road had to bend the way it did. A-C-T-O-F-U-R, N-V-I-G-T-I-N-T-H-E-D-T-U-R. So how do you actually navigate a detour? How do you keep moving forward when everything feels like it's falling apart? First, you acknowledge where you are. You don't pretend the detour isn't happening. You don't fake positivity. You don't gaslight yourself into thinking failure doesn't hurt. It does. It's okay to feel disappointed. It's okay to grieve what didn't work out. That's not weakness. That's being human. But here's the key. You acknowledge it, and then you ask yourself a different question. Not, why did this happen to me? What is this teaching me? Where is this taking me? What can I do with this? Second, you extract the lesson. Every failure has wisdom embedded in it if you're willing to look for it. Did you fail because you weren't prepared? Now you know what to study. Did you fail because you rushed? Now you know to be more patient. Did you fail because you trusted the wrong people? Now you know what red flags to watch for. Did you fail because you were chasing someone else's definition of success? Now you know to define it for yourself. The lesson is always there. But you have to be willing to sit with the discomfort long enough to find it. Third, you adjust your approach. Detours require different strategies. If you keep doing the same thing the same way, you'll keep getting the same results. This is your opportunity to innovate, to pivot, to try something completely different. Maybe the detour is showing you that you need different skills, different partners, different timing, a different approach entirely. Einstein said insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. Detours force you out of insanity and into creativity. Fourth, you stay in motion. This is critical. The worst thing you can do on a detour is stop moving. I'm not saying rush. I'm not saying pretend you're okay when you're not. But I am saying take one small step, then another. Then another. Progress on a detour doesn't look like progress on the main highway. It's slower, it's less direct, but it's still progress. Read one book. Make one call. Take one conversation. Apply to one opportunity. Movement creates momentum, and momentum creates possibility. A-C-T-I-V-E. T-H-E-P-O-R-O powers pecta I-V. Here's something beautiful about detours. They give you perspective you would never have gained on the straight path. When you're forced to take a different route, you see things you would have missed. You meet people you wouldn't have encountered. You develop capabilities you wouldn't have needed. you discover parts of yourself that would have stayed dormant. Some of the most meaningful experiences of your life are going to come from the detours, not the destinations. Because the destinations are about achievement. The detours are about transformation. I want you to think about your own life for a moment. Think about a time when something didn't work out the way you wanted. A failure, a rejection, a loss. Now think about what came after. Who did you become because of that experience? What did you learn? Where did that detour ultimately lead you? I'm willing to bet that at least some of those detours led you to places you're grateful for now, even if you couldn't see it at the time. That's the thing about detours. You can't appreciate them in real time. You can only appreciate them in hindsight. But when you look back, you realize that the detour was exactly where you needed to go. The relationship that didn't work out protected you from the wrong person and made space for the right one. The job you didn't get pushed you to develop skills that led to something better. The business that failed taught you lessons that made the next venture successful. The health crisis that forced you to slow down reconnected you with what actually matters, the problem. The detour was the path. ACX, Rodafinning, SUCES, a 2500, 2800. We need to talk about how we define success, because our definition of success determines how we experience failure. If success only means reaching a specific outcome by a specific time in a specific way, then anything that deviates from that plan will feel like failure. But that's a fragile definition. That's a definition that sets you up for constant disappointment. What if success isn't about the destination at all? What if success is about who you become in the process? What if success is about how many times you got back up? What if success is about the courage to keep trying even when you're terrified? What if success is about growth, not achievement? By that definition, every detour is part of your success story. Every failure is proof that you're brave enough to try. Every setback is evidence that you're pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone. Every struggle is confirmation that you're becoming someone stronger. You're not failing, you're evolving. Silos, INGs, yo, you are destai. So here's what I need you to remember today. Whatever detour you're on right now, whatever failure you're processing, whatever dream that didn't work out, whatever door that closed in your face, it's not the end of your road. It's a bend in the road. And bends in the road are not dead ends unless you stop moving. You are not defined by what didn't work. You're defined by what you do next. You're defined by whether you let this setback become your story or just a chapter in your story. Failure is inevitable, but defeat is optional. You get to decide if this detour breaks you or makes you. You get to decide if this becomes the excuse you use for the rest of your life or the experience that transformed you. You get to decide if you stop here or if you keep going. And I need you to keep going. But your dreams are still possible. They might look different than you planned. They might take longer than you expected. They might require a route you never anticipated. But they're still possible. The detour you're on, it's not a dead end. It's just a different way forward. So take a breath, learn the lesson, adjust your approach, and take the next step. Your destination is still waiting. And the detour is going to make arriving there so much sweeter than if the road had been straight all along. This is your journey. This is your story. And it's not over. Keep going.